Welcome back to another modern video. Still back with Murktide in search of play points. So let's find an opponent and try to win one. Unfortunately, we've been having some bad luck this league. We've been on the play exactly 0 times. And we played Yawgmoth last round. And I think I made like some errors, but like I don't think they were, significant enough to be like, oh yeah, that's exactly why I lost. But I don't know. We'll see. I also have no idea how really to play um, against Yawgmoth, so that's just also on me. But and then the round before against Scam, I felt like it was super close. It was just a matter of draws, and their draws were better than mine. So, and then round 1, I beat Amulet Titan, which again very draw dependent. They got no amulets in games 2 or 3, which pretty much means you're cruising to a victory. So, all right, we begin. My complaining has worked as we are now on the play. Yes, I'd like to be on the play. Thank you for asking. Boy, this is what we call an amazing hand. Yeah, we'll keep. And then run out the Ragavan. Obviously, I'd like this one of these to be like a fetch land, because I could easily get Delirium here with a fetch land. But unfortunately, that doesn't happen here. So we'll just shock in a Ragavan. Pass. Pass through my opponent's turn as well. Scalding Tarn. Seems like we're in for a Bolt, an Unholy Heat, maybe even Lava Dart. Play their own Ragavan, so it's a mirror match, you say? Alright, so we're gonna shock in the Steam Vents, cast Unholy Heat, and take a card from the top of their library. It is a Consider. I don't feel like they definitely can't play Murktide now. I feel like the Considered now is fine. Because I can Scolding or Pierce. Yeah, we'll put this on top. I can Scolding or Pierce. Like, if they play a creature, I can just Scolding it. If they play a spell, I can Pierce it, so. Yeah, Consider's fine. Alright, we're Scolding their Ragavan. Otawara. Maybe I could have gone Expressive Iteration there, but I think this is fine. I passed through attackers like an idiot. Great, good job. Whoops. Alright, so they have enough for a Murktide here. I can just counterspell that, and then I have Spell Pierce backup if they Spell Pierce my Spell Pierce, or if they Spell Pierce my counterspell. Shredder. Spell Snare? Okay, sure. Go Otawara attack. Another Consider. This keeps up my counterspell. Put that in the graveyard. Unholy Heat's good. Only 3 creature or only 3 card types in the graveyard currently. Again, like I said, I wished I had like a fetch land or something like them, because now they're I mean, they're delirious they've been delirious the whole game, so it's fine. So we're really not looking to counter anything except for like a Murktide or maybe an iteration. Like we'll spell Pierce an expressive iteration. Nobody gets card advantage. If they play Spell Pierce here, that's fine. Okay. All right, let's go to combat. We get an iteration, you say? Okay. So we're going to go Shredder iteration. We have enough mana for a counterspell. Sure. We'll put Shredder on the bottom of the library. Like this is more than fine. All right, hand, bottom, exile, play the land, pass. Yeah, actually, I can fetch for a basic island and play Preordain. Iteration DRC. All right, so we'll go top, and pass. It should be at 8. I should have 3 tokens. DRC's fine. All right, so I have 7 mana. Let's go DRC. Unholy Heat. Bolt. Yeah, I'd like a bolt. Bolt's good. Sure, you can counterspell that. That's fine. All right, now let's go iteration. Leave this on top. So that way we can kill this with a treasure. Hand, bottom, exile, play the land, bolt the DRC. Don't need additional lands, really. I could have gone bobble, but I think having 3 lands currently is fine, although I really only need 2. All right, so let's go to combat. And we get an Unholy Heat. Can't do anything with that, so let's just pass. We'll fetch for Steam Vents at the end of our turn, or at the end of my opponent's turn, just to deck thin a bit. Bobble's fine. They definitely don't have a Murktide. They're looking at themselves. They're probably seeing if like it's worth it to even keep playing. And we'll counter that. Yep. All right, so let's start sideboarding. So we're gonna bring in Subtlety, Fury, Unlicensed Hearse, and Spell Pierce. Now you can also bring in Narset, and I actually played Magic in paper, and I had an opponent bring in a Narset against me, and I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But I feel like these four are correct. Narset, I just don't know what the other thing to remove is. Obviously, the big thing to remove here is Dragon's Rage Channeler. I feel like everything else is really good. Maybe the Ragavan. Maybe I could trim one Ragavan for Narset and give that a try. I've taken out one too many. Oh, and a lightning bolt. Okay, yeah. So let's try that. Just being on the draw, I think the Ragavan's bad. Maybe the Narset's fine. Maybe Narset can get there. One land, but a preordained and a bauble, iteration counterspell, lightning bolt to hit my opponent's Ragavan. Yeah, I like this. All right, so I'm just gonna go Flooded Strand, bauble. Like there's if this was a Steam Vent or something, like I would probably have bobbled first. Negative Steam Vents. Okay. And pass. Ooh, I probably should just play the Preordain. Actually, no. I think this is more correct. Holding up the Lightning Bolt for a potentially dashed Ragavan is more correct than drawing off of Preordain. And I should have waited, but it's okay. They're going to consider that's fine. Really, all I'm ever cracking that for, and we have an Unholy Heat to kill the Ragavan with instead if we want to. Is there anything that does anything here that really screws me up? I don't think so. Not in their end step. All right, let's preordain. Still no Ledger Shredder. Like there with 2 Ledger Shredder, it's not worth waiting for the bobble in this matchup against like Bowmasters. It's worth it. All right, they're getting a Spire Bluff now. Except they're not because they're tapping again. The information's fine, but like it's also I just want to draw cards. I'm maintaining it 6 cards in hand. I'm gonna have 7 again. So like keeping my number of cards high is very important here. Spell Pierce. So if they go iteration, we Spell Pierce that. They're not going to go iteration. They're going to bobble. Yep. Just passing. Interesting. All right. We'll just hold our mana. They can draw. They're at 6 cards in hand. I'm at 8. Spell Pierce. No lands. And this is the problem with the baubles now. They can just counter my iteration and go off. I just need to hold here. I discard likely a lightning bolt. That way I have Delirium for Unholy Heat to kill a Murktide from them. So, or I could discard a Spell Pierce. It's one of the two. And we'll go through my end step. What do they do? Do they do anything? Yeah, let's get rid of a Spell Pierce. It's fine. So, like I said, we have 4 card types. Ledger Shredder. Yeah, I'm just gonna bolt it. We're gonna bolt in my upkeep. I should have just let it go, honestly. That was a mistake. I was too counter happy. Now they get to filter their hand a bit. That was stupid. That was so stupid. I should never have done that in the first place. So now I need a land. Yeah, I deserve to lose at this point. That was such a mistake. Because what it should have been was bolt in my upkeep, bolt during, and then bolt in their upkeep. Make them have 2 spells. I go iteration, yeah. Yeah. Yep. I'm in trouble now. Especially because I'm not getting land drops. I get Ragavan, yeah. Yeah, I'll take 3. Yeah, I'll take 3 for my hubris. I should have just Unholy Heated. If I was going to play the Spell Pierce, I should have just Unholy Heated. That was such a mistake. I think I have the iteration here. And bottom, exile, play the Spire Bluff, Unholy Heat. Like, it sucks. They're going to connive again, but, like, I have to kill this. And now the Ragavan gets to hit me. Yeah, I'm just way behind because of that one Spell Pierce. I could have Spell Pierced their iteration and been so far ahead. Land? Alright, Spire of Canal is good. Murktide? So they can get an 8/8. Like, or a 7/7. I have to double spell this. Alright, let's play Preordain. I can't get this Shredder out now. You're both terrible. Alright, let's shock in Steam Vents. We'll shoot the Shredder. Or the Shredder, the Murktide. They counter this, they counter it. Like, I have nothing. I can't do anything here. Yep. Yep, that one Spell Pierce just lost me the game. That's insane. Oh well. Really wish I had this for a Murktide. It was like the one thing that could beat me. I could probably grind back, but like, yeah, I was just so far behind. And that's just not worth playing out. Like, I'm just gonna get hit for 9 the next turn because they're gonna remove my Ragavan. They just had so much. So yeah, mistake. If I was gonna, like I said, if I was gonna Spell Pierce it, I should have just played the Unholy Heat. 1 land with Preordain. And Bobble. So we get to see 3 more cards. And we have something to bounce a Murktide spell with. If I like both, the bauble can go off immediately. I hate the bauble. I need the land. Cast in the fire. All right, so that's for unlicensed hearse. Speak of the devil. So I'm kind of waiting for an opportunity to play hearse now. All right, so we'll put the Spire Bluff or the Steam Vents on the bottom and the Spire Bluff Canal on top and draw it. That way we have our third land drop. And that way I can Spell Pierce a Cast into the Fire. They didn't fetch. That's interesting. They're just holding off on fetching? Oh, don't tell me they're going to Blood Moon me. Shit. Let's play the Unlicensed Hearse. Just get it out there. And then if they try to remove it with Cast into the Fire, I can just Spell Pierce the Cast into the Fire. Yep, now they fetch. Steam Vents, untapped. Yep, they're going for this Cast into the Fire. All right, so let's start by making them think that I'm not exiling it, or that I'm just exiling for reasons, and that will Spell Pierce. Get that psychic damage. Psychic damage, very important in Magic the Gathering. Come on. Thank you. Preordain's fine. Murktide Regent. Can't play that. Can't really do much of anything here. I could try to play Iteration. They counter it. I still have Lightning Bolt. All right, let's try it. That's fine. I said no, thank you. All right, let's take their 2 instants. Remove a card type from the graveyard so that way they don't have Delirium. You can consider. Yeah, I'm really just hoping they kind of leave me some mana. They're shocking that in? Interesting. I kind of want to play the Narset now. If this gets countered, that's fine. Like, they're just using counter spells on things that I don't necessarily need. Sure. I'm fine with the subtlety. We'll bottom the Narset. I don't need to see it again. Although I will likely tap the, or I'll likely fetch with the Flooded Strand. All right, in their upkeep, I'm going to take the Preordain and Consider. This is fine too. If they play it, I can just bolt it. Yeah, can't do anything about iteration. Yeah, petty thefting that is interesting, especially when like we're Murktide. Like, I guess I took away their one response to a unlicensed hearse. All right, so are they going for the Murktide? They can't. They are leaving up Counterspell. All right, so let's fetch. Can't cast this. Sure. Second Murktide, which is great subtlety fodder. All right, so let's go hearse. If they counter this, like they can't, like, because they see the Murktide Regent, they can't counter it. So I do want to shrink their graveyard, especially for delirium purposes. It's not the one I wanted. I wanted subtlety, but fine points are not what Magic the Gathering Online is good at. So they have 5 lands. They can easily, yeah, you get another iteration, sure. Where are my iterations? I guess I played the one and got countered, but where are my iterations? Why can't I chain iteration to iteration? Where's that for me? What do they exile with? It was like a Preordain of Stern Scolding or something that got exiled with subtlety, I guess. And I know about the card that I countered, so they couldn't even play the game anymore. All right, so they have exiled a snow-covered island, so they're at 6 mana. 4 cards in hand. Sure. All right, let's have our iteration countered. I got it off, huh? So I want to hold up. I want to have a Spell Pierce. So hand, bottom, exile, play the bauble. The top card of their library. It's an Unholy Heat. So I definitely need to make my Murktide huge whenever I make it. And now I'm going to tap and get rid of these 2 things. I'm fine. Like if they play Murktide on at cost or like delving 1, I just want it to be a 3/3. You know. So I wouldn't be surprised if they go Brazen Borrower here. Yeah. They probably think I was gonna. They probably think I'm gonna respond to this. Yeah, you can consider. All right. So now Murktide is their Murktide is big enough that it's actually a problem. All right. Let's see what I drew. I drew a Bauble. Hooray! That's exactly what I didn't need. Yeah, I'll take 3. Can't counter that. Another land. So yeah, they can just hard cast Murktide now. You could also hard cast a Fury. Okay, let's keep holding mana. That's fine. All right, let's go preordain. Top. Play the Flooded Strand. Play Bauble. We'll bolt the Borrower. Counterspell? Flusterstorm. Okay. I'm not paying for any of these. This is fine. I legitimately do not care. Oh my god, why do I have to respond to this? Like, come on, I've already said I don't want to respond. All right, let's look at the top card of your library. Monkey. And I'm getting a preordain at the top of mine. I have 4 cards left in hand. Four, 5, 6, 7. So I have 7. So I can make a. I can make a 7/7 and a 6. I can make a 7/7 and a 6/6. And I can get and I can spell pierce. Yep, we're gonna try it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Doing my best to maintain delirium here. I didn't, but it's fine. They didn't counter it. Well, we in the business call that a W. All right, let's take iteration and Flusterstorm. And that way they're stuck on 3 and pass. They have second Borrower. I mean, like, good for them. You Otawara. Yeah, that's fine. Playing your own Murktide. I have bad news for you, opponent. Ragavan is fine. I'll take 5 here. 5 here, go to 9. Cool. Boy, imagine if you did that first opponent where you attack with those two first, and then you did your thing. You'd have a protected Murktide. Upkeep step. Okay. Draw. Let's start with a preordain. Those are both pretty good. Let's go top. Let's kill the Brazen Borrower. And pass. I can play Murktide here, but like the Spell Pierce is so worthless right now. Like it just doesn't do anything, so. My opponent is way ahead on time with me. We're also in game 3, and it feels like the game will be over soon. Ragavan Dash, sure. I would like to draw my Unholy Heat, please. Three mana. There are 3 cards left in hand, 5 mana. Shredder. Sure, you Shredder. Boy, I wish those were a little bit larger so I could actually grab them. I guess we just slam a Murktide here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I want to protect it from at least a Unholy Heat. So it needs to be 7. We have enough for a 6/6 next turn. Three cards in hand. We're going to Fury the Shredder. Okay, opponent doing nothing. It makes me wonder what these 3 cards, like, they have to be flooding. All right, cool. I'm assuming they're flooding. That's the only thing I could see. But yeah, I just waited as long as I could, stole as many counter spells as I could. Although I don't actually, I guess because it might be under here or something. I don't know. But yeah, I guess they just weren't drawing into counter spells. So yeah, it was just like the thing with Murktide is you either like go mega aggressive and you're being the aggressor and then forcing your opponent to also aggress, and then or playing a control-y style. Depending, it's all hand dependent. Whatever you have in hand, you have to play with that, obviously. But like That's how we played. We played very slow. We knew when they were going to counter stuff. We accepted when they were going to counter stuff. It was fine. Everything worked out. We did good. Really good, especially considering yesterday. I don't feel like I played my best against a Murktide mirror in paper, but hey, cool. I love having Murktide and Fury. All that stuff's great. So thanks for watching. Really appreciate you watching. If you could drop a subscription on the channel, that'd be amazing. Also drop a like in the video and leave something in the comments. Let me know what you think. I'm sure somebody's going to say, oh yeah, that you missing damage to that Ragavan in game 1 was really foolish. And I will say, yes, it was. I should not have done that. I should have had an additional treasure and an additional 2 damage on my opponent, but it is what it is. So everybody, thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow for the last match of the league.